How can wolves prevent you from enjoying your dash? And I know that may sound like a crazy question, but one of the reasons why I'm recording this video is because today is my birthday. So today I turned 43, and quite frankly, age has always been nothing but a number to me. But today's number is a little bit more special and slightly more surreal because it's literally the same age that my dad was when he passed away from colon cancer. So I'm 43. And I've just been thinking more and more lately about making sure that my dash matters. And so some of you may be wondering, okay, what does this talk about? What does she mean by dash? And so when you go to a cemetery, you look at the headstones. You've got your birth date, and then you have the end date. And then there's that little dash in the middle, the hyphen. And that is your life. And I remember when my dad passed away, thinking this thought so many years ago, and being the same age that he was when he passed away is just causing me to reflect on this even more and some of the challenges that I've been going through, and clearly that Satan is trying to prevent me from making sure that my dash matters, but I'm not going to let that happen. Okay, so I want to read to you from my book, How to Live an Extraordinary Life with or Without Mr. Right. And there's a chapter that's literally called, How Can Wolves Prevent You from Enjoying Your Dash? And a wolf is essentially someone that is going out of their way to make sure that you are miserable and that you do not fulfill your assignment. So that dash in the middle, when you look at the headstone, that is your life, right? That is your life. That is literally your entire purpose for being here on this earth. What are you doing with the dash? What are you doing to ensure that your dash matters? And so that has always been very heavy on me. And especially after my dad's death, I just, I wanted to make sure everything that I did mattered. And I'm going to be honest, I was full speed ahead for a little bit, right? And then life got in the way. And then so many things came my way and started weighing me down and caused me to forget that, I'm here. I have an assignment. God has given us all an assignment. And some of us are not living up to those assignments. And so I've always wanted to make sure that my dash mattered. Okay. So there was a point in my life where I lost everything. And and when I say everything, I mean everything. Like literally, I lost my job. I went through my savings. I exhausted my unemployment. I lost my apartment, had to go live with a relative, blah, blah, blah. And that's when I started the Hustle and Faith podcast. That's when I started really getting more into the word and trying to get more into helping other people. I've always helped other people, but just being more, making sure that my voice was even more amplified. And then I wrote this book in order to help other folks as well. And I'm being honest, guys, 2025 has thrown me some curveballs because I never in a million years had on my bingo card being a housing rights activist, but yet here we are. And I can honestly look back and see where God is leading me. He's been leading me to this point all along, but I've just been fighting it in a weird way, not intentionally, but just not really using the gifts that I had in the way that He wanted me to use them. I don't know if hopefully that makes sense, but I've always had these gifts, but they've been dormant for so long. And it's almost like He was just pushing me and prodding me to get to the position that I'm at now. And so once again, I'm going to read from How to Live an Extraordinary Life with or Without Mr. Right. And I'm going to read a little bit from the chapter, How Can Wolves Prevent You from Enjoying Your Dash? Okay. So when we look at an obituary or headstone, we see that person's birth date and date of death. But what about the dash? That dash is more than a punctuation mark. The dash, again, I want you to think about this. That dash is more than a punctuation mark. It represents our life. And so my question to you is, what will your dash look like? The same year that my dad passed away from colon cancer was the same year that I graduated from college. I vowed that I would live a life of no regrets. Sadly, as I got older, I vowed that I would live a life, sadly, as I got older, somewhere along the way, that zeal for life began to fade. I'm sure many of you feel the exact same way. When you get older, you start accumulating more responsibilities like bills and family, and all those hopes and dreams can quickly fall by the wayside. It became very apparent to me that it is impossible to live a peaceful, happy life without God. Yet inadvertently, not pursuing or developing the talents that God gave me left me with some regrets. To get rid of my regret and regain what I had lost by not using my talent, I decided to let God guide me. I want my dash to be filled with peace and happiness. And so I decided to make a wholehearted, concerted effort to create my ideal life. I unintentionally learned this lesson through the school of hard knocks. During one period of my life, I was unemployed, and I had plenty of time to reflect and rediscover my passions. My unemployment was a much needed wake-up call. Even though that was an extremely tough period, it gave me time to reflect on my dash. God helped me to rediscover my passions and cultivate the talents He gave me. I aligned my soul with Christ by using the following steps. And so I'm going to stop right there, but I really wanted to make this video in the event that you are struggling, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, right? There's just so much going on. And so in the event that you are struggling, I want you to not throw yourself a pity party. In fact, this is what I actually did. And I'm not lying when I say this, y'all. When I get in that pity party mood, the first thing I do now is I go to my journal. I have a gratitude journal. I'm big on journaling, so I've got a ton of journals. So the first thing I do is now I go to that journal and I look through all the hard times that God's brought me through, and that automatically starts to pick me up. Now, sometimes I have to get much further in the journal than other times, but oftentimes reading my gratitude journal brings a smile to my face. And I think about the fact that He brought me through that. He can bring me through whatever is causing me to feel down at that time. And so I want you to get in the habit of journaling in the event that you too are facing some down times, right? Look at your journal. See how much that you have to be thankful for, because I guarantee you someone else has it much worse than you do. And so think about it from this perspective. If you're continually complaining, and yes, I'm not saying every day is filled with sunshine and rainbows, I get that. But if you are continually complaining and not even attempting to look at the good that God has already brought in your life, why should He continue to give you more, right? So I said all that to say this. One, happy birthday to myself. And to encourage you, I want you to really think about that question. How are you going to make your dash matter? All right? Take care.